Chris Cuomo just said the most asinine thing about Laken Riley, illegal immigrants, and how this division is being manufactured for political gains. It is just unbelievable. Have a listen to what this guy has to say. Just truly got me all fired up. So
change how I feel about the parties. They are the problem. They are the root of this binary battle to the bottom. The division is almost exclusively manufactured. We are fighting over culture issues and controversies that are completely made up. We divide this country over a single homicide of somebody, and it's absolutely wrong. What happened to Laken Riley is horrible. It's one too many, any way you want to look at it. But it is also an artificial issue. We have crime issues in this country. Our homicide problem is not from illegal immigrants, okay? Yeah, but there shouldn't be any. There shouldn't be any of a lot of things that we haven't made a top priority. The division is manufactured.
Wow, that guy's an idiot, because it is not manufactured. What I don't understand, he is a parent. I looked up, he does have 2 girls. How could you as a parent think for 1 second that if any child is killed by an illegal immigrant, that any part of that is okay? And it's not just one, there is multiple, and I'll go over that. Hey guys, it's Delana, welcome back. I just saw that video of Chris Cuomo and I just got all fired up because I think it's absolutely ludicrous to think that this is based on one person, and it is one person plus many more that should never have happened. I can't even fathom being Laken Riley's mother, and there is many more that he's not talking about. There was over 15,000 illegal immigrants that came into this country that had criminal records, either murdered, being convicted of murder in their old country, or have been accused of and charged of murder. About 15,000 people crossing the border illegally had these charges. And if I know anything about watching hours and hours of true crime, I realize that there is no changing those people, especially with there's no accountability. These people have obviously been charged or convicted of murder and have come across the border with no repercussions whatsoever, because now they're walking around in this country free. So no wonder that, you know, these girls' lives are being lost. And, you know, another thing, I just want to show you this picture here of, these are the girls that Chris Cuomo is not talking about. Kayla Hamilton, she was killed by an illegal immigrant that broke into her house and killed her in her own home, and her boyfriend found her. Ruby Garcia, she's also another woman that was lost. She was 25 years old. She was lured by her boyfriend, and she was shot in the head. So her boyfriend pulled over to the side of the street, shot her in the head several times, and just left her for dead. And he was an illegal immigrant. Elizabeth Medina, she's another one. She was 16 years old. She was a teenager. And the illegal immigrant that killed her, he was just out on probation. So he wasn't even supposed to, he was supposed to be in jail, and they let him out. And then we have Rachel Morin. She was 37 years old. She was a mother of 5. And I just can't imagine her poor children have to go through without their mother. And the guy that killed her, she was out running, and she was killed by someone who was part of the MS-13 gang. And he should have 100% been in jail, because he had actually did a burglary back in LA. And the reason that they found him is that she had DNA on her, and they traced the DNA back to him because he had committed a burglary back in LA. So these guys are not good guys. And then, of course, Laken Riley, who was killed at the University of Georgia, just out for a run, 20 years old. I couldn't even fathom. I saw a video Chris Cuomo made, and his daughter had came out with a new song, and she's a singer, and he was so proud. And she was the same age as Laken Riley. And this is what I can't stand, is the hypocrisy. How can you even say for 1 second that this isn't a fucking problem when you if it was your 20-year-old daughter? I think that you would be just devastated and think that this is not manufactured. Then you have Jocelyn Nungary. She was in Texas, and she was only 12 years old, and she will have a whole wildlife refuge. She was right into animals, wild animals, and wildlife, and now she has 39 acres that the government has donated in her name, and it's part of the National Wildlife Refuge. Jocelyn Tokiziza, and she was 21 years old, and the person that killed her was an illegal alien and killed her on her 21st birthday, which was just horrible. And then you have Melody Waldecker. She was killed by an illegal immigrant. She's a grandmother, mother, and she was run over by an illegal when she went to the 7-Eleven to go get something in the store. He tried to break into her car, steal her car, and then ran her over. And then you have Molly Tibbetts. She was, I think, 20 years old. She was at the University of Iowa, and she was out running, and someone had raped her and killed her while she was out for a run. Just 20 years old, had her whole life ahead of her. And that's what just pisses me off about Chris Cuomo, is that they talk shit and they don't think for 2 seconds what it would be like to be any one of their parents and have gone through all of this. Like, this is actually a problem. If there's 15,000 illegal immigrants in this country have this kind of background, and that does not include any assault, that doesn't include rape, doesn't include assault, it doesn't include burglaries or anything like those, are just convicted or been charged of murder. 15,000. And it's just ridiculous. One of my friends had posted this image on one of our Facebook posts, and this was right like the day after the election, and she is Canadian, but she posted this and she's like, I don't know how could this possibly be? And I think that all of us, what the division is there's a bunch of us that don't want this shit. We want to protect our children. And that is the first and number one priority. It's not having illegal immigrants into our country. I'm here on a green card. I have had to go through the entire process. It's horrible. I joked before, I said my last colonoscopy was less intrusive, and I don't discard the process. What I discard is, why doesn't everybody go through the same process? So when my friend had posted this and she was talking about like women's rights, I'm pretty sure that's what she was getting at, because apparently we lost all our women's rights when Trump got in, which I haven't figured out which any of those rights I've lost yet, but still trying to figure that one out. But she had posted this, and what pisses me off the most, like, I'm here in Arizona, and I'm like, yeah, we voted in someone that's going to stop this immigration problem. I live 100 miles from the Mexican border, and every time my daughter goes out, and I said this, I responded to this post, and I said, I worry about her. I wish I had a freaking drone over her head when she rides her bike to her friend's house and back, because I'm worried sick about all these illegal immigrants in here and that are doing damage. I'm sorry. And one of my other friends wrote back and said, like, yeah, right, like, that's what you're worried about. And right after that, she responded, when I responded, and she responded back to me, post, this turned up on our feed, missing in Arizona. One of my girlfriend's friend had someone missing in Arizona, and they were trying to talk to me about women's rights and abortions, and we don't have that. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about that. I give a shit about my daughter from getting point A to point B safely. My daughter's 15 years old. I worry about her safety. That's what I care about. That's what's most important to me. So it is just beyond me that Chris Cuomo can sit there with that smugness as to he knows the answer. He knows what this division has been manufactured. You can't manufacture the amount of gumption that people have to save their children, to keep their girls safe. Like, that is not manufactured. That is just an internal mama bear instinct to protect our daughters. And to think that this is all manufactured, I truly believe that the Democrats just want to shove all this shit underneath the carpet, and they just want to create more voters for themselves. I did watch a video earlier, and I was going to post on this, but it's sort of a different topic. But Elon Musk is talking about how the Democrats are just pouring in these immigrants because eventually some of them will get Social Security numbers. In the video I was watching, it was about the increase in number of fraudulent Social Security cases over the last 5 years or 4 years between 2020, 2024, and the amount of Social Security frauds have gone like quadrupled over the past 4 years. So essentially, they want these illegal immigrants to come in, they get their Social Security cards, they get their Social Security, they start getting into the system, and then they become voters. And then they create these blue states with these illegal immigrants that all of a sudden have created votes. They even have found in New York that some illegal immigrants have been able to vote. I've been here for over 22 years. I have 4 children, all Americans. I am here on a green card, and I've never voted, nor have I ever been invited to vote, nor have I ever got a ballot. Then it's just ridiculous. And also, one of the cases that I noticed here, someone said that they found his driver's license. But if you're illegal alien, you can't get a driver's license. I have a green card, so when I go get a driver's license, I have to bring my documentation, and that shows that I am going to be here from my green card is from this date to this date, and that's when my license expires, on the date that my green card expires. So the only way you can get a legal driver's license is if you're in this country legally. So even their driver's license are probably fraudulent. But the whole thing, it just drives me crazy. And it's like these people that kind of talk high on the hill, because Chris Cuomo's daughter is probably never going to be in a situation where she's probably amongst all the illegal immigrants on the ground level, because they're wealthy, they live in their own, I'm sure, northern Connecticut or wherever the hell they are. But it's not part of their everyday life. It really isn't. And I said, part of my issue is like, I'm 100 miles from work. Yeah, it's every day in my life. It's every day that I worry about it. It's when my daughter goes to Target and she's in 3 rows over. I worry about it. I check on my phone. But this is a constant. This isn't fabricated. This is what parents are worried about. And when we have the Laken Rileys of the world, that is just, unfortunately, the poster child of what is really going on. And there's more. Apparently, there's been up to about 1,000 people that have been murdered since this whole immigration thing started with the Biden administration. There's been about 1,000 people murdered. I don't have the exact number, but they say it's around 1,000 or just creeping over of people that have been killed by illegal immigrants. So when he says one is like the token, and that we're building this all up around this one person, is bullshit. And even if it was one person, and he's right when he said one is more than enough, it's 100,000% one. Because if it was his daughter that was the Laken Riley, I'm sure all hell would break loose, and I'm sure he wouldn't be saying the same tune. And it's the fact that they can't turn it around and feel what others are feeling, and the outrage that, God, I would say normal people that don't want these murderers in this country running free, it's just beyond me. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think. It just got me fired up, and I just want to talk about it because it is, like I said, something that is truly on my mind daily, and I worry about it. And the fact that he just makes it sound like this is all manufactured and we're just creating this problem out of nowhere is, you got your head up your ass. I'm sorry, he's got his head up his ass. And someone's got to, I don't know. I'm sure I saw on his thing, there was a lot of comments coming back at him. So he didn't say this without any kind of backlash, but yeah, 100%. Chris Cuomo, what happened if it was your daughter? Let's see what you have to say. Why don't you think about that for 2 seconds? If it was actually your daughter that was in Laken Riley's position and something happened to her, would you feel the same way? Is the question I have. So anyways, let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.